The latest Transformers game announcement obviously has many fans buzzing. I, for one, am hoping this ends up being a live service game. I know that is a contentious subject and people like to debate it. I'm going to make my case at the beginning of this video. We also have new information about the game. We've kind of pieced some things together. Confirmation that this is a planned MMO free-to-play game inspired by Destiny, according to leaks from months ago. So we're going to put all that information together for you right here at the beginning of this video, and it is a live stream, so you'll have to watch the rest of it if you want to see the discussions, or if you want to be here for those discussions, make sure you hit subscribe and the bell button. Now, I have been somebody who has argued in favor of live service games, or at the very least started telling people a couple of years ago that I thought that was sort of the future of games. The budgets were so big, the worlds and the mechanics and everything that went into them, it made sense for them to be more ongoing instead of one and done. Now, that doesn't mean that single-player games are on the way out or that single-player games can't be massively successful. We've seen that. But I do think the general trend will be a rise in live service games, games that are more MMO light. I've also continued to say that I think the next great looter is on the way. There have been some games that have pulled it off, but nothing has truly landed, I don't think, the formula, and I do think Diablo 4 could be the precursor for games getting the formula right with everything they learn from the Diablo 3 Loot 2.0 system and the seasonal system. And so when I look at Transformers, I see tons of potential for a live service game. And what do we know up to now? We know some concrete things, okay? There was a press release. There was a trailer. If you didn't see the trailer, it's a pretty basic trailer. There's no gameplay. It's purely cinematics. There's not a lot going on. It sort of opens up with, like you can see here, sort of like a cinematic like scene where they're trying to bring back a Transformer. And according to the press release, Transformers Reactivate is a 1-to-4 player online action game being developed in collaboration with Hasbro Incorporated. This PC and console co-op game will offer players an opportunity to explore a fresh new story within the Transformers universe. So at the very least, we now have confirmation it's a 1-to-4 player online action game, but we have leaks confirming the type of game this started out to be, which will likely be the goal, or at least the groundwork that they're building on, because it has changed names and changed hands a couple of times. Now, what will we be doing? So the story is that we will get to play as some of our favorite characters, unique, weighty, and powerful, seamlessly converting between vehicle and bot as they battle the Legion, the greatest threat the Autobots have ever faced. So you have to remember that that's what we're facing. We're facing the Legion. That's kind of what is going to be the main story and the main crux. Now, who is working on this? This is important because of leaks that happened a couple months prior to this, okay? This is a new era, according to the press release. This marks a new era for Splash Damage and is being developed and published exclusively by the London-based group as part of the new era. Splash Damage recently acquired Bulkhead and have been developing Transformers Reactivate in collaboration with the Derby-based studio. Now, Bulkhead was excited about this. They even tweeted and said, you know, this is a new era. And they said, we're proud to be part of Splash Damage. To be acquired by a developer of the games we grew up playing is an honor. Everyone at Bulkhead is ready to show the world what we're capable of with the right partner. Let's make some effing sick shooters. Now, the right partner line seems to indicate that maybe they feel they haven't really gotten to put their best foot forward under Square Enix, who is who they previously were with. Now, Splash Damage made Brink and Gears Tactics. Neither very memorable. Brink actually didn't do very good, but I do think Brink attempted to do something with the shooter genre that we enjoy today in games like Destiny. They wanted some sort of an ongoing cooperative game that had loot and that had guns in it. Now, Brink launched in May of 2011, and it didn't do all that well. It felt a little early. It felt like, you know, they wasn't quite ready. It was kind of a buggy game. I don't necessarily think the industry was ready for that kind of a game, one where you would just continue to play and loot. Up to that point, the most successful looter shooter would have been Borderlands. I think that online co-op action games are ripe for extended experiences, ongoing experiences, and what better universe than Transformers? Just the toys alone, there's over 500 different Transformers. I know the list is much longer than that, but just within the toy realm, some of the research I did, there's a minimum of like 500 different Transformers. There's probably easily 50 to 100 recognizable or more known Transformers that could be used for story, campaign, expansion, and that's not just about quantity, okay? I know quantity doesn't necessitate quality, but quality could come from looting. You've got skill trees, augmentation, changes, customization. All of that's practically limitless within the lore and the world of Transformers, especially if you're making your own. You're not really penned in to anything particular that would have to be maintained. The expansions of worlds and universes, enemies, is also limitless. Within that context, you could have great reasons for new gear, new loot, new abilities. Keeping a loot game fresh is really, really hard because you tend to not want to undercut everything people have earned and worked on, and yet you gotta give people a reason to go out and do all the new stuff. And we may get our wish, okay? This is when the information starts to get juicy, okay? Certain Affinity, this is according to Insider Gaming, all right? This is Tom Henderson's site, the leaker, notable leaker. According to him, while back, Certain Affinity was working on a Transformers game, and here's the report. Certain Affinity's Transformer game has struggled since the project was greenlit, but now sources have suggested that Splash Damage, the company making Transformers Reactivate, Splash Damage has taken over the project. According to this report, it was going to be free-to-play, third-person, and MMO, Destiny-inspired. Here's the quote. The supposed free-to-play third-person MMO is expected to release in 2023 and has taken inspiration from games like Destiny. Now, what's the gameplay like? In this team-based experience, fan-favorite characters like Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, and Megatron will be making their way to the game, with Transformers being placed under different category types, and this is where the Destiny inspiration starts to come out. Somewhat similar to Destiny's Hunters, Warlocks, and Titans, the Transformers title will have similar roles currently under the name Tank, Damage, and Support. That sounds good to me. That sounds like something that you can even see in the Transformers world. If you're familiar with the cartoons or the shows or the comics or any of that, there is grounds to say you're going to have some that are tanky, more damage focused, and more support focused. Now, it's gone through a few name changes. It was Transformers Rise, then it was Transformers Fortress, now it's Transformers Reactivate. And somebody might say, how do we know this is the same game? Well, when you look at the plot leak, it pretty much confirms it's the same game. As for the game's plot, it's understood that the Transformers will be fighting a new enemy on Earth under the name the Legion. And in this trailer, they're on Earth. Somebody decoded all the text. It's being invaded. And according to the press release from Splash Damage, we're fighting the Legion. So it's the same story. Stands to reason it's the same game. It's unlikely that Splash Damage would be taking over a Transformers game and then doing two with the same story. That just doesn't seem to be the case. Now, there is some concern here. According to sources, it's being developed in Unreal 4, and it is said that the game felt, quote, very outdated but has potential. Now, that obviously could be that it was early developed and just doesn't have the graphics, it doesn't have the appearance of a modern game, of a next-gen game. And you want a Transformers game to look really, really good. Some games have harnessed more of the cartoon style. This seems to be, according to the trailers, way more photorealistic and true to form, like the movies. Like, it's going to look like you're in the real world with real metallic-looking Transformers. Kind of like, you know, how when they did the first Iron Man movie, it was like, oh, wow, you can do superhero movies really well. This could be one of the first Transformers games to really nail that realistic feel. Again, if they can get out of this dated feel or outdated feel that some of the leaks are pointing to. Apparently, I am not the only one who wants to see a Transformers live service game, or at the very least, I think it's ripe for an ongoing looter shooter live service game. I would love to know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you're here for the discussions. We greatly appreciate everybody being a part of what we do here. And if you guys are in the live audience right now, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. That is the show open. My stupid autofocus, I got it working last night, and now it's being a punk again. Hopefully you guys don't notice it. I notice it. Who is publishing? I don't necessarily think we have... isn't Splash Damage the publisher, or they're a publisher developer? Which are they? Are they kind of like both? Because the official... Splash Damage is a studio, so I don't know who the publisher is. I don't actually know if that's been formally announced, because they acquired Bulkhead, so maybe they're like are they like independent publisher and developer? I'm not actually sure what the approach there is, because I'm familiar with Brink. I have a hair that's falling down. I'm familiar with Brink. I remember playing Brink with my boys. Like, we wanted a game like that. We wanted a game that we could play together, and that was one of the reasons that we... Oh, sorry, Discord. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Everybody go through your morning ritual. Smash that like button. It's just not a thing that we want to harp on, so make sure you're doing that every time you're here. There's our member goal, 0 out of 25. Every 25, I have to give 5. So make sure you guys are doing all the things so we can just have a talk show. Morning, good sir. Have an awesome day. What's good? Good to see you, Feed. Why do you like live service so much? Is it because it allows the game to always get updates? Just wondering. I like live service because I think it makes the most sense of certain game types. I don't think every game should be live service. Like, obviously, God of War Ragnarok wouldn't have made much sense as a live service game. Hellblade 2 is coming out. I wouldn't want Hellblade 2 to be a live service game. So I'm not like a live service evangelist, like, oh, hey, make every game live service. That's not what I want. But when I look at certain game types, it always feels like, man, make that live service, bro. Like, make that ongoing. I remember the first time I saw Outriders, and then we heard, oh, it's not going to be live service. I was like, well, then why frickin' bother, right? Like, why bother? You build a game with leveling and loot and RPG elements and an end game, and I can play it with my buddies, but it's not gonna be live service. So what am I doing? So am I running all the way to the end game and grinding for gear to be like, what? What's the point? You know what I'm saying? I always feel like the floor falls out on me. It's like, what? Why would I invest that level of time? Is it published by Splash? They're a dual house studio with development and publishing capabilities. Finally in, what's good, Solemn? I've been excited for a game in a long time. I'm ready for this, says Omega. Good morning, good afternoon. What's good, Christian? I was just wondering, because you bring it up for some games, and I like live service. I wanted your reasoning. Yeah, I think sometimes this happens in gaming, right? People are automatically anti-live service. They're like, no, I don't want it. And I'm like, why, though? There are some great live service games out there. They're not universally bad. Why spend 5 years building a world that I spend 30 hours in? I don't like that. That's the other element of this. I really do think that Assassin's Creed Valhalla has changed the narrative. The idea of we spend half a decade building a world that people spend. Now, I know Assassin's Creed games get really, really great playtime, but if you look at the course of like the average, gamer in the community, you're talking about easily a fraction of time in the game compared to time building the game. We built this game for 5 or 6 years, and the average person's going to spend 30, 40 hours in it at most. And then the really hardcore fans are going to hit, 50 to 100 hours. That's still a fraction. That's a fraction of the time that they've spent on the game. You wish Hogwarts was live service? Yeah, I know a lot of people are looking at Hogwarts and thinking that. They're like, man, I would love to see Hogwarts have co-op. I would love to see Hogwarts be live service. I definitely feel that, because why wouldn't you want to just spend more time in the school? Why wouldn't you want to just spend more time hanging out with everybody and again playing with the boys and getting your groups together and going off and doing missions? So I know Hogwarts is one of those ones where it feels like I'm not going to argue that it should have been, but it's like, man, oh man, I feel like everybody's going to say that when they walk away from that game, when they decide to put it down or decide to take a break. I feel like a lot of people are going to say, I really wish I could just keep playing this with my friends. I don't want to stop, which that's a sign of a good game. I don't think everything needs to be live service. I think Hogwarts can be, massively successful without being live service. But that's what I always think of when I look at a game like that. Like, man, all that time. All that time and that investment. I feel like live service, when it's done well and doesn't feel like it's targeting just my wallet. See, Overwatch 2 is a bad example. Oh, there are certainly bad examples, and we discussed this yesterday in the pay-to-win debate. It's like, it's better to say, here's good and bad live service, right? Here's good and bad monetization systems, instead of, oh, no, everything I don't like is pay-to-win, right? It can be live service, but if it also can't stand on its own, I don't want it. Yeah, like Eugene and I debated this when we covered Project LLL, his idea being you need to build a good game first and then transition to live service. And at one level, I agree with him. If you can't nail the foundation of the game, what am I doing? What's the world? What's the mechanics? What's the loot motivation, right? What's the player incentivization? If you can't nail that, then I'm immediately going to be like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to play. I don't want to play ongoing. You almost have to get to the end and feel like, oh my gosh, when's the next season? When's the next thing? I need more content. And if you don't nail that, then it's probably not going to be a successful live service game. And this is one of the things that's probably a giant tension. Whenever somebody's creating a live service game, there's probably this tension of, you've got to nail the base game, but you also have to plan for ongoing. If you just nail the base game and you have no plan for ongoing, what have you got? If you have a shoddy base game and you got all this stretched out content, what have you got? I feel like I'm describing Anthem and Halo Infinite on opposite ends of the extreme, right? We've seen a few 4-player online games with big IPs, Left 4 Dead, Aliens, Predator, but I feel like they all kind of flop, so that gives me some pause. Well, and if you look at the way that they structured the Aliens Fireteam game, they built it to not just be something you played once and put down. It was ongoing. They had reasons to come back and play. They just recently added stuff. Like, when I look at Anthem, it's like, you guys nailed the base game. The story was shaky, but the base game was good. No end game. No live service structure whatsoever. And then when I look at Halo Infinite, it's like, you guys thought through, how do we get people to keep coming back and playing? But you didn't nail any of the other things. Everything is like super stretched. Like, you're just stretching everything super, super far. What are your thoughts on GTA Online? I don't really have any thoughts on GTA Online. I don't have a lot of experience with it. Just to be a stickler, I feel I should point out that Brink was in no way a looter game. It had multiplayer story missions that you played as one of the two factions in the custom loadouts. You got stuff for playing, though, did you not? I feel like you got stuff at the end. Were you just leveling? It might not have been a looter, but it was a live service shooter. It was one of the first shooters with the idea of, like, keep coming back, keep playing. You're not just gonna play one time, or you're not just gonna beat the main missions and then walk away. What would you rather have for live service? Cosmetic microtransactions or the old school subscription model? I mean, I'm actually hugely in favor of the seasonal model. I think the seasonal model works. It's working for Diablo. It's worked for Destiny, and they're starting to hit their own limitations of, like, player satisfaction. So I think you can do the seasonal model right, though. I think the Diablo 3 seasonal model also has limitations on player satisfaction. Part of that's on players like me. I didn't buy them or even downloaded them when they were free and then never played them, and then I'm disappointed they're not supported. So mea culpa. Right. Subscription model. Yeah, see, I think seasonal model emulates subscription, but it makes it optional. Like, the reason I don't like subscription model is I think you shrink your player funnel really quickly with subscription. It's like, you must pay to keep playing. Why? Okay. Well, what if I want to take a break? What if I need to take a break? What if I, want to come back and don't really know if I'm going to enjoy the game, right? I think you need to make that funnel incredibly easy to jump back in. And the seasonal model says you don't have to do anything. You can buy the season if you're having a good time or want more stuff. Yeah, ESO has an optional sub-model. Yeah, ESO's optional model, I think, has treated them very well. You don't make people pay money to play, but if they're playing and having a good time, they're gonna spend the money. They're gonna buy the season. They're gonna pay the subscription fee. So when I look at Transformers Reactivate, that's what I see. I'm like, that's a game that I would want to keep playing. If the leaks are to be believed, and this is the third-person MMO Destiny-inspired game that Certain Affinity was working on, then you've got to structure it in that way. You've got to think, what are people doing in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th month? What are people doing in the 2nd year? If you don't do that, then your game will fail miserably. Oh, the story was great. Yeah, one play session, 30, 40 hours was great, and then after that, there was nothing. By the way, my wife got the naughty coal and then the nice Sour Patch. She's got the naughty and the nice. She puts these in boxes when you guys order the coffee. If you order four or more, you get a box, and she puts these in there as like a Merry Christmas and like a thank you. So get those coffee orders in. Frickmas Roast. The Frickmas Roast is here. It's in white bags. Look at that. There we go. It's a white Frickmas, and I'm signing the bags. You guys get limited editions. Give me 1 second. Lock in the white balance and see if that helps the autofocus. I did it last night, and I recorded a couple of videos, and man, it stayed locked on me, and I was like, that's what I want to see, and then today it's being weird again. My last of 3 comments thread. I just can't get over my hesitance to subscribe to a game, nor be at the mercy of strangers to play with. Since I don't really have local PlayStation friends to go online with, I'm a hard sell. Right. Well, and that's the thing. Like, subscription model is really tough to convince people, because if you don't get people, it's almost like you have to give them a taste. Like, why am I going to pay a subscription fee unless I know I've seen gameplay, my friends are raving about it? It's going to be really hard, I think, to convince just some random person to come here, pay a subscription fee. Oh, by the way, it's an MMO, so it's grindy. You got to put the time in, right? You got to put the time in. If you don't put the time in, then you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to have any loot. You're not going to have any progression. I cut open the bag of Frickmas through the packing and forgot it was resealable. Dumped it in a Ziploc. Oh, yeah, you're just supposed to cut across the top. Yeah, we'll be playing High on Life as our second stream today. If you guys are enjoying the show so far, smash all the buttons. Who wants to be the first person to set us on our member goal here? Who wants to be the first coffee order? East Coast Overlord is going to renew his membership and hit a 14-month milestone, and he's a VIP plus. That's a high member. I'd be down for a good live service game, but nothing has had combat that feels as good as the other game for me. Well, and that's the thing. I think that's always going to be their competitive edge. And that's fine. I think every game has their competitive edge. I think Diablo 3 leveraged the Rift system and, randomly generated environments. That's their competitive edge. Shooting mechanics in Destiny, that's their competitive edge. Like, if you can leverage all the other parts, you don't necessarily need to feel as good in the shooting. I know the Transformers devs contracted the Steel Battalion devs. I'm wondering if this game is going to be more realistic or simulation take on Transformers. Think Star Wars Squadrons, but Transformers. Well, judging by the trailer, yeah, they're going for a more realistic look. I don't think they're going for, like, cartoon. Again, subs tend not to have time-limited content. That too. A lot of MMOs do have free trials, so you can at least try out the systems. Right. Yeah. And I think that if you're going to do it that way, that's the only way you're going to get people to convert. I can't see people converting over. Yeah, High on Life will not be safe for work. Looking forward to your thoughts on it. I'm hearing about performance issues. Yeah, it's not even 60 FPS on the Series X, so I don't know what the frick they did. So it might be another game that I absolutely eviscerate for just falling beneath the bare minimum expectations on these next-gen consoles. Like, I see nothing in that game that shouldn't be able to hit 60, so if they don't patch it soon, it will not do very well, because it's a Game Pass game. It's a Game Pass game, so you got no skin in the game, man. Play it for 20 minutes and feel seasick and then shut it down. It's 60 FPS but not stable. Okay. Hey, first coffee order of the day goes to Rogue Necro, a bag of Frickmas. There actually was one before I went live from Snatchy Cakes as well. 2 bags of Frickmas already. And who's going to start the gifted members going here? If it hits 25, I have to give 5. So if you can't afford a membership, be here as often as you can. Smash like, talk in my chat. Those things communicate to YouTube that you like the channel, and that's more likely going to increase your chances of getting a gifted member. I don't think subs will appeal to a majority of the current gamers. Live service is clearly the sweet spot to hit everything from hardcore to casual, monthly subs or not. That's another angle that I think is interesting, right? If you go live service instead of sub model, you appeal to a demographic that I don't think you will likely get if you go sub model. Like, I think no matter what you do, the minute you go subscription model, that mid-lane player, the more casual, I'm not saying like super casual, but the more mid-lane players like me are going to immediately say, yep, I'm probably not going to play that. Subscriptions have a stigma, right? Not only do they have a stigma, they're attached to an old idea of EverQuest and World of Warcraft and just hours and hours and hours of time. And I think that the future of games is targeting that mid-lane player, that generational shift of like 28 and up people are just too busy to play that much. They're just too busy. Jobs, kids, relationships, hobbies, you know what I'm saying? Yo, what's good, Austin? No, back on No Working Can't Stay Long. Everyone have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate that. Why not a submodel like ESO? You can play without subscription, but you get DLC with extra rewards in the subscription. I think it works for ESO because ESO has a significant amount of depth and things that you have to do. I feel like a Transformers game would be perfect for seasonal model because how cosmetically driven do you think this game's going to be? I would imagine it'd be pretty cosmetically driven. You want to look dope. You want to get the new stuff. You want to put the new coat of paint on there. You want to get your guy to look different. And I think that's perfect for seasonal model. I also don't think there. I mean, maybe it gets super serious like ESO, and there's crafting, and there's min-maxing, and then that optional subscriptional model for all that extra goodies and all that extra stuff. You know, possible that helps. You know, that makes people feel like, oh no, I need this optional subscription. This game is serious. I just feel like Transformers is just ripe for every 3 months. You got a new season, you got a new battle pass, you got new content to go experience, new loops to run, new loot to get. Cool Spoon says, I'll put the Brink info here. Brink did have leveling similar to COD for weapon and character customization unlocks, but even then it didn't have many weapons, but it did have a lot of character customization. Yeah, I remember customizing the guns was really cool. Aside from the DLC pack, what is going on? There we go. Aside from the one DLC pack, it didn't get any more content that I remember. It was, however, one of the first multiplayer FPS games to have wall running and parkour. They even had trailers and vid dogs bragging about it. The map design, however, almost never used it. The servers struggled bad at launch, basically killed the player base. I also remember the devs making a lot of promises that never came true. Yeah, I would never sing the praises of Brink because I played it with my friends and was just incredibly disappointed. I was incredibly disappointed. Now, the reason I highlighted Brink is because it came out 11 years ago, and it was one of the first games that felt like they built it with the idea of, this is a game, another coffee order. This is a game that people are going to keep coming back to, right? It felt like one of the first attempts at a live service shooter. Not a looter, but it felt like one of the first attempts at a live service shooter that you'd play with other people and keep coming back. It wasn't something that you played through the campaign and then you were done, right? Keltblood ordered a triple threat that saves you a little bit of money if you try all 3 flavors of our coffee, the light roast, the dark roast, and the Frickmas blend. Guys, this is ours, by the way. This is not a sponsor, okay? This is in my home, and because the bags ended up being white, which is we're going to be signing them, so they're like limited edition. So I'm signing them with like a red marker, so you get like a personalized bag, right? We're making the best out of situation. Once we upgrade all the bags to the resealables like this, they are pretty big, but I think they look really nice. They're really durable as well. They don't feel like cheap or chintzy. Once we change them all, they'll be black bags. So get those orders in. Transformers was confirmed third person. Yeah, we don't know if that's confirmation, but what we do know is that according to Tom Henderson's Insider Gaming website, Certain Affinity was working on a third-person MMO Transformers game that since has been passed off to Splash Damage, right? It's been passed off to Splash Damage, and they were building a third-person, free-to-play MMO Transformers game that was going to be largely inspired by Destiny. I hope the character models are influenced by the G1 designs. G1 wasn't my era, but by far my favorite looking designs of all Transformers. I believe in their press release they said G1. I believe they did. Let me pull it up for you. I think they make mention of it in their press release on Splash Damage's website. I feel like I read G1 in the actual right here. Let me pull this up for you. Growing up with the G1 Transformers in the 80s means it's always hold a special place in my heart. It's both an honor and a privilege to work with such a beloved franchise. We know fans have been waiting a long time for a new Transformers game on consoles and PC, and we're going to give them the experience they deserve. So it seems like he's making mention of G1 on purpose. They don't mention it anywhere else, but the CEO is saying, I mean, I grew up with G1. So he's seemingly saying like that's where they're going to target the look and feel of the game. The bags remind me of the Series S. Yeah, our Reforge roast Frickmas bags are they're bigger than the Series S, so you can put them on your Series S. Thanks for that. That gets me excited. Yeah. I was just going to basically, hey, another order of coffee, a triple threat to my man Sorcerer, grabbing a light roast, a dark roast, and a Frickmas blend. I'm dreaming of a white Frickmas, guys. Make sure if you get your coffee, use hashtag white Frickmas, obviously, instead of white Christmas. Thank you so much. Good morning, Geritol. How are you? The coffee has more memory for sure. Oh, golly. I always wanted to play Brink, says Sinnohs, but it had terrible release window. Yeah, it did. It came out around a lot of great stuff. Why would they say you transition between vehicle and bot form seamlessly in-game if you were in first person? That's actually a really good point from Creature. I cannot imagine a Transformers game being first person. That would honestly be weird. You need to see the Autobot. You need to see the transformation. Like they talk about it in here that right here. They will get to play as some of their favorite characters, unique, weighty, and powerful, seamlessly converting between vehicle and bot form as they battle the Legion, the greatest threat the Autobots have ever faced. Now, I see potential in leaving Earth as well. Like, you could do all this on Earth, and then if you want to expand the game and take us to new places, I mean, that's easy money, right? You just take us somewhere else, take us to another place, take us to another, and then if you've got, different speed, different enemies, now you need different abilities, now you need different weapons, that could be really, really good. Right now, there is no Transformers Reactivate gameplay. When it was under a different name, Transformers Rise gameplay, that actually leaked, right? So there is Transformers gameplay leaks out there that can give you a picture of like what this game might end up looking like. A lot of those, I believe, have been shut down, so I'm not going to show any of that here. I don't feel like getting DMCA'd or any of that. We're still dealing with frickin' the Game Awards stream has all this stuff that we've got to mute and remove. Always good to have a 14,000 viewed video get obliterated by a bunch of claims. Just such a wonderful experience. Thank you to everybody who makes video game trailers and then aggressively claims them. Like, I don't understand your mentality. You seem like an old man that doesn't understand what a library is. I want an MMO on Cybertron. I mean, this apparently, when it was being built by Certain Affinity, free-to-play, third-person MMO. That's what it was being described as. This morning, when I was doing my write-up, I was just primarily going to argue for live service. I want the Transformers game to be live service, okay? And then Creature sends me a DM and he's like, yo, I did some digging. This game is an MMO. Yo, 7 months from Fat Steven sings, you've got the touch, you've got the power. That's right. Thanks for more than half a year, Fat Steven. Guys, this member goal is looking sad. If that hits 25, I have to give 5. Let's get that started. Make sure at the very least you're smashing like and saying good morning in the chat. Those are free things you can do. And then the more often you're here, when these super generous people gift, you might get one. And then when I gift the 5, you might get one. This sounds pretty cool, not going to lie, says Narwaffle. I'd be slightly more excited if it was Gundam instead of Transformers, but close enough. I feel like Transformers is... Well, yeah, I don't know. Gundam's probably more popular, but I don't know. I feel like Transformers just has that nostalgic appeal, you know? You would think there'd be some deal with people who are official co-streamers. Yeah, I don't understand. So, like, is Keeley's past broadcast, like, not viewable right now? That's what I don't understand. A $5 tip from East Coast Overlord. Transformers is right for new places. You could use some of the planets inspired by lore, the cartoons, planets like Speed, Cybertron, or the Beast Planet. That's a good point, East Coast Overlord. Thank you for the $5 tip. Do I have alerts turned on? Hopefully that popped up. Yeah, I mean, absolute gems of Transformers games. Hey, Babad's going to start us off. Babad number 2 is going to gift a membership. Let's get that nice odd number over there. Just one. Let's get that going. Thank you so much, Babad. We'll see who ends up snagging that. Make sure you guys click allow gifts. Make sure you have gifting allowance turned on in your settings. A lot of mech games coming out next year, it seems. Yeah. I remember playing the cartoonish looking one. I remember playing that one. What, Transformers Devastation? I remember playing that one and thinking, man, what a bunch of potential for it to be. Why is this gifted not getting claimed? What is going on? You can gift on mobile now. Neat. Somebody claim that. What's happening? Are there literally no gray names in chat right now? Are we in some kind of a Matrix glitch? No, I see faithful gray names right now that I know are here on a regular basis. What is going on? Hopefully it's not glitching out. Somebody was saying they were having trouble this morning getting into the chat, so maybe there is something going on. I don't know. Cell-shaded Transformers game published by Platinum Games. Yeah. I always loved the idea of playing like a cell-shaded... cartoonish looking Transformers, because it would just look like the cartoon that I grew up with. You know what I mean? I remember going to a friend's house. My mom had this friend that would watch us sometimes, and she had tons of Transformers. She had a sound wave. You could like actually put the cassette tape in there. I don't understand that. How is that not getting claimed? There are people here. Can you guys click allow gifts? Maybe somebody else needs to jar it. I don't know. That's weird. I gifted one yesterday and it got claimed right away. I've been meaning to play that game for like 10 years. There was one Transformers game that I tried to play that I remember getting really frustrated by because it ended up being extremely difficult. Like, they just didn't build it very well. There was some mission where you were like flying and you had to hit all these targets in this room. And it just felt virtually impossible. It was like, I can't do it. I wasn't fast enough. Cassette tape? Yeah, Lono old. Yeah, we need some Lono old emotes in chat. We need some more gifted members to jar this thing's memory. It didn't even hit the top of chat. I didn't even see his gifted hit the top of the chat bar. Let me reload chat. Yeah, it didn't even put his gifted up at the top. It didn't put East Coast Overlord's thing at the top either when he tipped money. I didn't see it up there. Gonna update mobile, see if I can gift. Yeah, there might be something going on. Hey, somebody else ordered some coffee. Another triple threat from Tailor Made. You guys save a little bit of money when you do that. That's the good one. Transformers Rise of the Darkspark. I don't know. Was that it? There was one that was just, it was just absolutely awful. Does this work? Now that's up at the top of the chat. 10-month membership renewal from Robert Jones. There we go. John Collins says I was up there. Okay. Maybe that gifted glitched out or something. I don't know. I want to see. You saw the gifted on top. Okay, you see it at the top. Okay. I don't know. Maybe somebody else is going to have to gift to jar its memory. Nobody claimed it. It didn't get claimed. And I know there's people here that would claim it, like Vinny Vaughn and others that would grab it right away. Now you're talking about War for Cybertron. Yeah, I remember flying through a tunnel and you got in like this circular room and like I had to go around and shoot. I think they were bombs or something. And I streamed it. This is a long time ago. This is a lifetime ago. We were on the other platform at that point. And it was like, I remember being like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. I could not figure it out. People in chat couldn't figure it out. I was like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go, how I'm supposed to get this done. That's War for Cybertron, second mission. Okay, so that's an actual game. I'm remembering a real game. Okay, I remember being like, I don't understand. I remember getting really irritated, and I think I just shut it off. I was like, I can't figure it out. I can't figure out what I'm supposed to do. I've seen all of them on Top Chat, but I haven't seen it get claimed. That is super awkward. Let's see if we can't jar its memory here. If somebody takes the time to spend money and gift a member, I want to make sure somebody gets it. So I'll do one and see if I can't knock it loose like a basketball. It gets stuck in the hoop. Let's see. Yo, what's good, Sean Yeagers? If you guys see this alert here in a second in the chat, click that allow gifts option. Click that, claim that gift. If you don't get mine, you should get the other one that was gifted this morning. There we go. Vinny Vaughn got mine. Okay, so it is working. All right, I'm going to bump us to 2. If we hit 25, I have to get 5 memberships. So I'm not sure what happened with that first one, but it does seem to be working now. And there's the alert. There we go. Welcome back, Vinny Vaughn. That gift's up top. Thank you for a whole year, Big O. That's 12-month milestone. That's a gold badge. If you guys are new and you've never been here before, we would love to hear from you. What do you think about a Transformers game going live service? Apparently, this game was being developed by Certain Affinity as a third-person MMO, basically inspired by Destiny game. They were going to have 3 classes. They were going to have damage, tank, and healer, similar to like, the Titan Hunter and the Warlock, which the Titan Hunter and the Warlock aren't really damage, tank, and healer, but I think initially maybe they were in concept, and over the years that hasn't really come to fruition all that much. But did you stream it after it was out? I don't think I streamed that one, no, Sven. I just want to know if there will be PvP, says Bossman. Now, that was something that Creature really got on last night when we were kind of brainstorming on the phone. He was like, this is a game that could give people everything. It could give people PvP. It could give people, that loot, big battles, raids, big fights. Like, it's almost limitless possibilities. Now, I, for one, would turn my nose up to PvP. That's just not what I look for in games. That's not something that I'm particularly fond of. I'm not a PvP guy. I tend to stay away from PvP. I tend to feel like PvP is, it's just not my thing. I'm not cut from that cloth kind of thing. Gifted subs are still not on Android. Man, East Coast is always tipping too. It's such a bummer that we can't have those always be gifted. We'd be hitting this goal like we've been hitting this goal every day. We'd be hitting it really quickly with how generous you are, man. I appreciate it. PvP is needed for longevity. I don't agree with that. Chat. I mean, chat, you weigh in. Is PvP needed for a longevity? Because here's why I don't agree with that. I think there's plenty of live service games that continue on successfully without a strong PvP presence. without a strong PvP sentence. Like Diablo 3's doing just fine without a strong PvP presence. Like, is there a strong PvP presence in ESO? I don't know if that's true. Will this just be the DC Hero game? I don't know what you mean. No PvP needed, says Ink Sanity. It's not needed for longevity, says Murphdog, but it does help in some games. A lot of people are saying no. Some people are saying it helps. PvPers abandon games quickly. Listen, I'm not trying to be tribalistic here, but I do think appealing to PvP players is such a challenge and potential fool's errand, because they quickly walk away. They're like, I don't like this game anymore. $2 tip from Bossman Davey. Thank you very much for doing a super chat tip. Make sure you guys are doing all of the things. We are 45 minutes into the broadcast, having a great morning. I don't run ads. You may have noticed. If you've enjoyed 45 minutes of uninterrupted content, feel free to show some appreciation. If you want to talk in my chat and contribute to the conversation, you just need to subscribe, and subscribing is free. So is smashing that thumbs up button, that like button. Appealing to PvP players only works if your combat is top tier. I only play Elden Ring for PvP now. Right, and here's what I would say to that, Noel. They didn't build Elden Ring around PvP. They didn't. I think that's pretty clear. Like, is anybody playing Elden Ring right now and feels like, oh yeah, they definitely built this game from the ground up for PvP? No, PvP is an addition to a very strong base game. And that's why I think appealing to PvP players can be very, very dangerous. I don't think DC Hero MMO had no PvP, but I think it has a good base of players for how light the content is. Oh, DC Universe Online. I don't know anything about that game. Do you remember the leak on D2 you reported on way back where Guardians were supposed to be split dark light versus each other? This game, you could pick Autobot or Decepticon and have actual war. That could be amazing. Now, the story of Transformers Reactivate is that we are fighting against the Legion. So I don't know if there's room for that within this game's framework at launch. Now, they could do that long term maybe, but it doesn't seem like they're building a game from the ground up that would have you picking an Autobot or a Decepticon. I would actually think that would be amazing. That would be more in line with a traditional MMO of like, you have to pick a faction, you have to pick a side. And I do think that that would give you tons of potential longevity. But you'd have to have a very, very different framework for your story. I don't think you could be like, oh yeah, we're doing this thing where you're fighting the Legion. Well, why would you pick a Decepticon for that? Like, would the Decepticons be even interested in fighting that? I don't know enough about the Transformers lore to know if you could get that to work. What's the point of the Legion if you have Decepticons? Right. PvP in games that aren't mainly PvP are just there as a gimmick to bring and keep more people into a game and almost never necessary. Right, and I think that's one of the ways I get snagged on it, Solemn. It's like, you're either going to make PvP top shelf and awesome, or it's going to be tacked on and always be a point of frustration. Right? If your game is built with, if your game is built for PvP from the ground up, great. It's going to have all of those things thought about, all of those things considered. If you don't do that, then you're going to be in bad shape, because it's always going to feel like this tacked on, busted thing. Or not even busted. It's going to feel like this half-baked thing. It's not going to feel very strong. PvE almost always outweighs PvP in MMOs, unless the game was literally built for PvP. Having a split between factions would make team balancing so difficult in PvP. Oh, well, sure, because you'd have to make sure the Autobots and the Decepticons are on even footing, right? Fall of Cybertron had both, and both were amazing. I'm not saying that you can't pull it off. I'm saying that it's really, really difficult. Because if you don't build the PvP from the ground up to almost be like its own entity, then it tends to feel like a half-baked tack-on. Exactly. If the focus isn't on PvP, it's usually half effort, or like a half measure, lacking in content, upsetting the fans of the game's PvP. If it's an 80-20 split with PvE and PvP, why ignore the 20% of your player base? I'm not saying they should ignore them, Taylor. I'm saying it's really challenging to say, okay, this game, let's just say this game is going to appeal to, let's make it easy. Let's represent the global gaming community as it's going to appeal to 100 people out of that group. We've got 100 customers that are going to buy this. And 80 of those customers really, really care about PvE. And we want to make sure they're happy. We want to make sure they're enjoying their time. And 20% are really going to look at the PvP. If we have to make foundational game-wide decisions for the PvP, that's going to affect your PvE production. That's going to affect your ability to do big, crazy damage, crazy strong builds, insanely busted abilities to like support your teammates or whatever. East Coast Overlord with a $5 tip. The Legion is so that they can allow Decepticons to be playable as well as Autobots, I bet. Like the Legion becomes such a big threat that the Decepticons end up helping? Or like what would be how would that work? But do you see what I'm saying? It's like you're going to affect the entire game for the minority, for the 20%. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if that's the right call sometimes, because that is extremely disruptive to your focus. Imagine a game that didn't do that, and they just said, no, we're going to own the fact that we're PvE. We're going to own it. We're going to make it awesome, crazy strong builds, really hard fights, good raids, or good, good boss mechanics. Doesn't even have to be a raid, just good boss mechanics. Unless it's a PvP game, I always laugh at the idea that PvP gives the game longevity for the base as a whole. It certainly gives longevity for some, but it doesn't keep the game alive. Right. And I think one of the main reasons it makes people think that it keeps it alive is because I think the streaming world makes people think that. They're like, well, that's all anybody streams after the first month. I also think that's like the general player experience is when I run out of things to do, the only people left are the people playing PvP. The only people left are the people that are like, oh yeah, this is all I really, focus on. This is all I really do. Elden Ring benefits from great PvP and Dark Souls 3 hard. Invasions and arena play were fun and prolonged my enjoyment of the game. It kept me playing for longer. That's exactly what I was just getting at, is it's like most of the people talking about a game as it continues is, the PvP. Trials kept D1 alive during downtimes. Yeah, there it is. Without fail, Eugene. There's always somebody that thinks that and says that, and it's just not true. The developers themselves confirm that that's just not true. That's not where the lion's share of the player base is. That's not where people spend their time. It just isn't. And it didn't do anything to keep it alive. You watched streamers, and that's what you thought. There were probably streamers that said that, right? This is the only thing keeping the game alive right now. There were plenty of people that thought it and said it, and that narrative took root. And it's like, no, an insane minority played that mode. A very small minority played that mode compared to the player base at large, Is YouTube having trouble? Chat is come to a screeching halt. We were having a discussion. What is happening? Let me refresh. I think my chat is bugged. I think my chat is bugged out. No, it's not bugged. Y'all just legit went to sleep on me 53 minutes in. What is going on? We have been having a great discussion about PvP. Maybe we should switch gears. Maybe PvP shut everybody up. I'm not sure. YouTube's being butt today. I mean, that just came to a dead stop. I was like, we were having a back and forth, and then all of a sudden it was like clunk. It's like no one say anything. What is happening? I would be dead without PvP, Kappa. Well, of course. Okay, everybody's worker lurker. Well, okay, those of you that aren't worker lurkers, come on, man. Come on. Let's have a discussion here. I can't talk to myself. I mean, I generally do talk to myself, but morning, I'm worried that the amount of hand changes the game could be missing an identity. That was one of my questions, right? That was one of my discussion questions is the game switching hands so many times? Like, is that concerning for you? right? A $5 tip from Bossman Davey. If the initial gameplay has great movement and gunplay, why not implement it into PvP? Should be a no-brainer. I'm not saying that they shouldn't do PvP, right? I haven't said that at all. I've said it's significantly challenging. It usually ends up feeling tacked on and half-baked, and then it feels like it doesn't even justify its own existence, right? It doesn't justify its own existence. Like, it ends up feeling tacked on and mediocre and mid, and then everyone's like, why is this even here? You know, I think there are people that have said that for a long time about the game I used to cover. They're like, why is this over here? Now, it's had its bright spots, but I feel like it's had more dark spots than bright spots. It's a no-brainer if you can feel powerful in PvE. If you can feel powerful in PvE and if you can balance in PvP. Right, if you can do both. You have to balance separately. If you don't balance separately, then I feel like the game's automatically going to frustrate people. If I dive into a Transformers game, brother, I want to feel awesome. I want to earn some crazy explosion. I want to earn some crazy sword slice. You know what I'm saying? And I need it to absolutely be devastating. And if it's not, because you're like, well, we were going to give you this sword thing and this explosion thing, but it was gonna break PvP. Well, okay, well, that I don't care about that, right? I think that's always the concern. I think that's a valid concern. To feel like I just want to play and feel awesome, and is PvP going to be a potential threat there? Not a big Transformers guy, says Cool Spoon, but I could talk Brink all day if chat is slow. PvP is usually what keeps me in a game. I rarely buy games that don't at least have co-op, but PvP is always more than welcome. After Elden Ring, it'll be hard for me to enjoy another Elder Scrolls game if Elder Scrolls doesn't add at least co-op. It's just so much fun. Oh, no, I agree with you. To explore with friends. I've been saying for a long time, like, I want an open world action adventure game. Like, I look at Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I look at Immortals Phoenix Rising, even Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm like, I just want to play through this world with my wife. We could each be on our own TV. I've got 2 PlayStation 5s. Like, that's what I want to do. I just want to have that experience. You know, in the next Elder Scrolls game, that would just be awesome. We're really looking forward to Diablo 4 for that reason. You know, how many times have they disabled weapons in Destiny 2 solely because something was exploited? My problem is PvP in D2. Oh, I liked it because he can actually get into battles like COD, but the lack of attention is frustrating. Mods give you that? I mean, I don't like doing modding. I want to plug in my PlayStation to my TV and play. I don't want to do all that. Yeah, you gonna play Diablo 4 on PS5? Oh, for sure, that's where I'll play, yes, because I've got 2 PS5s, so we can, you know, I'm sure there'll be crossplay, but if you can avoid crossplay, it usually makes connections better. I don't understand the sudden obsession with movement in PvP. I feel like people just say that because it makes them feel cool. I don't think that makes people feel cool. I think people talk about movement because one of the things that can make a game stand out in the realm of shooters is your movement and your volition, right? Because if you add, let's say you play a game like this Transformers Reactivate game, right? Let's say you dive in and play, and you get the shooting down pretty quickly, but the skill expression and the skill ceiling is significantly higher because of the movement, right? The ability to jump and dodge and dash and move around. Well, what that does is that gives more opportunity for skill expression so that the player can commit time, finesse certain play styles, and then feel the results when they play. So I think the reason people focus on movement is because if you've been playing shooters as long as many of us have, you know, you've got the shooting mechanics down most of the time, like right out of the box. You don't need somebody to teach you how to like aim a weapon in a shooter. But empowering the player to move in particular ways will really, really change things. Hey, there you go, Barrier. Looking good. Looking good. Did that thing get punctured in shipment, or is that just a really, really dark wrinkle right below my name, Barrier? Right below Lono. As someone new to coffee, would you recommend light roast or Frickmas? I think light roast is perfect for someone who doesn't drink lots of coffee. The balanced acidity makes it incredibly smooth. If you pair it with Italian sweet cream, I think it's perfect. I've had people compare my light roast to like the smoothness and the drinkableness of like a hot chocolate. Now, it's not going to be like as sweet as a hot chocolate. You add a little bit of that sweet cream though, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I've had non-coffee drinkers try my light roast and say, this is great. We had at least 2 people recently do that. So, and then if you like that, you could ease into Frickmas, which is a medium roast, and then the dark roast. Tell me you bought walk without telling me you bought walk. I just want to play the game and not mess with settings. Well, I mean, I don't like messing with settings either. You know, I don't like having to like load up a mod to do something fun or like consider, you know, just going in and having to always put something on invert is a little bit frustrating, you know. I drink my coffee black and the dark roast isn't as harsh as the rest. Very nice, says TaylorMade. There you go. All of our coffee has balanced acidity. If you've never tried coffee before with balanced acidity, that's reason enough to try ours. That is reason enough to try ours. The Frick Mix bags are dope. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. If you guys are just tuning in, we are discussing Transformers Reactivate info. We've got good information. There were leaks. There was confirmation, basically, that this game was a third-person MMO inspired by Destiny being developed by Certain Affinity, and it has now been handed off to Splash Damage and Bulkhead. And Splash Damage has worked on, you know, games in the past like Brink, and Bulkhead was previously with Square Enix. I actually enjoy messing with the settings. It's a nice ritual before you dig into the new game. Yeah, High on Life did that thing where they immediately start playing the game and I can't get into the settings. I do not like that. I don't. Reforge does look kind of cool on the white bag. Looked awful on stream, but all right in the photo. It looks a little bit better when you're holding it. Yeah. It got punctured, didn't notice that. Okay, we didn't ship any punctured bags, Barrier, so that likely happened in shipping. So, those sound like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles characters. I think the outer packaging just got punctured. Okay, good. Yeah. I would not ship. If we get punctured bags, we get compensated for that. Movement is important, says Butters, as well as time to do actions. Imagine the worst case that it's a BR for PvP and you have a massive map or it takes place on a world map. They walk really slow, but they drive and fly fast. The time to transform would be a massive difference when it comes to the movement if there was PvP. That's why movement is an issue and people talk about it. Right, exactly. Like if you're playing a Transformers game and there's like PvP and you're driving along and some guy's flying as a jet, and you like see each other and you're like, and then you're like, you transform. That's my impersonation of the Transformer sound, you know, and you transform. That massive, not missive. I was like, missive? What the F? I thought you were using like a big word. That's unusual for you, Butters, so I wasn't sure what was happening. So you've got to have that timed right. Because let's say the jet can transform way faster than the semi. Well, that's going to be really unfair. You're like, boom, and he transforms. And you're like, hang on a minute, I'm coming out. And you're dead. You know, he shoots you and blows you up. So there's got to be elements of the game and the combat that's combed over with a fine-tooth comb. Now, one of the reasons I'm kind of anti-PvP, I'm super pro live service, but I'm kind of anti-PvP, is I just love the simplicity. I love the simplicity of a game that doesn't have to consider any of those things. They don't have to consider balance of, you know, 1v1 fight. They have to consider balance, right? Please do the Transformer sound again. No. I'll tell you what I'll do. You guys want the Transformer sound again? Hit the member goal. All right. This thing's looking really sad over here. Come on, let's hit that 25. I have to give 5 when we hit it. That's your incentive. I could easily see a Transformers hero shooter brawler. Oh, for sure. Listen. I don't know if I would want to step into the hero brawler scene right now. I don't know if I would want to do that. I feel like every time I turn around, there's a hero brawler coming out. There's another punchy punch game where, you know, everyone's running around with their favorite character or just some cartoon character, right? We need a full Optimus Prime impression. I don't know what he says. I would need a script. I could probably channel it a little bit. His voice is so low, though. It's nice when games that have PvP, do what Destiny and Elden Ring do, have different balancing. Yeah, how long did it take in Destiny, though? And I'm glad that Elden Ring's doing it as well. It's like you got to separate it because nobody wants to have their primo build nerfed into the ground because some guy's, you know, going crazy in PvP with a whip or blood damage or whatever the heck. Yeah, I guess Autobots roll out. Yeah. We have the weirdest member incentives. Yeah, we do. PlayStation wants their PlayStation All-Stars game to come back. I don't know about that. I think if you're going to build a game right now, there's a couple of landscapes that I would stay away from. Battle Royale and Brawlers. I would just stay away from Battle Royales and Brawlers. I feel like every time I turn around, somebody's launching a BR, somebody's launching a Brawler, you know? Preacher got me the transform sound. I can just press play and I'll just move my mouth and fake you guys out. I would stay away from those. I would. Listen, here's why I think live service, like live service looters especially, I think they have massive potential. Because I don't necessarily think you would say, oh, here comes another one. It would be more of, okay, let's see how long this one lasts. Do you see the difference? Like, I feel like a brawler is a brawler at the end of the day. At the end of the day, a battle royale feels like a battle royale. Now, obviously, people who are big fans of battle royales are going to be like, nah, bro, there's tons of differences. Surely there are. I'm not saying that, like, Apex Legends and PUBG are the same. But it's... Here's the point that I'm going to make. If you've played a brawler or a battle royale and had a bad experience, you generally don't expect to have a good one the next time you jump in to a brawler or a battle royale. You just sort of expect to not have a good time. But when it comes to live service games, live service looter games, they can come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. So if you had a bad time in The Division, but maybe you had a good time in Destiny, maybe you had a bad time in Anthem, but you had a good time in Diablo 3. Do you see? Like, those games aren't necessarily controlled by, or their experience is sort of dictated by the constraints of, oh, well, it's a live service looter, so I'm confident I'll have a bad time. Well, no, it could be a completely different game. Do you understand? Like, this is why I've said open world action adventure games are the ripe territory for live service, because they build these massive worlds and it almost daunts you when you're looking at it through the lens of a single player one-time experience. It's almost too much. If you're an even mediocre level completionist player, you look at the icons on the map and you're like, oh my gosh. Imagine a Transformers game that did that. Yes, you can play with your buds. Yes, it's cooperative. This big, huge, massive world, all this stuff to go do. And you look at it and you think, oh, that's going to take a lifetime. Now imagine walking into Transformers Reactivate and saying, oh, look at all this stuff. I'm going to be able to play this for weeks before I get bored. And they have plans to add content. They've got seasons. They've got grind. They've got things to do. So when you look at a game now, I think the bridge between bloated open world action adventure game and live service looter, I think that bridge is forming, and I think Valhalla built the bridge. Assassin's Creed Valhalla built the bridge between these games are so big, they're so bloated, I don't even want to try to do everything. Because ultimately, a lot of people played Assassin's Creed Odyssey and came to that conclusion. They were like, F this is too big, I'll never complete it, I'll never get done. Imagine if Assassin's Creed Odyssey would have been an Assassin's Creed live service game where that world was your hobby playground existence for the next 6 months. Well, then you look at it in a very, very different way. And when I look at Transformers, I think, okay, you've got quantitative advantage. There are so many Transformers, which means there's so many potential movesets, abilities, skills, powers, weapons, vehicle transformations. That's just unbelievably long list. That's just for the player. Then think about the quantitative advantage that the game has with the enemies. There's unlimited things they could do with the enemies. Now you got the player, you got the enemies. What about the world? You can go anywhere. You start on Earth and then go somewhere else. You could start on Earth with one enemy type and then another enemy type shows up. There's a lot of different ways to approach this. That's just quantitative. Well, what about qualitative? One of the greatest challenges for a live service looter shooter is maintaining its relevancy. Because what happens is, the very thing that drives you to play the game makes it hard for the developers to create new content. And let me explain what I mean. And I'm going to use Transformers as an example. Imagine playing Transformers Reactivate gameplay, and you dive in, and you build your character. And you're a jet, and you're damage-oriented, and you have all these weapons, and all these builds, and all this stuff that you grinded for. You spent like a month getting the best stuff for your jet with respect to speed, transformation, quickness, agility. You've got this amazing cannon that you can use for range, and then you got this amazing sword you can use for melee. You're at the primo top shelf of your build. All of that drove your engagement, and now it's the potential enemy of future engagement. How? Well, think about it. That took a lot of time and a lot of effort. And they say, hey, in the new season, we've got new melee swords to grind for, new cannons to grind for, new animation, transformation sets, whatever. Let's say maybe when you come out of your jet form, you can choose between a shielded transformation, an attack transformation, and a support transformation. You're like, chickle, and boom, this big explosion comes out. Or you put down this thing and it heals your team, or it shields you for so many seconds so you're not as vulnerable, right? So you have all those different choices that you're making. And you're going to look at the new season in Transformers Reactivate, and you're going to say, why do I want to go chase those things? Why? Well, they're better than what you have now. Oh, so everything I just did is meaningless. I'm going to replace all this stuff. Well, yeah, I mean, how else are we going to get you to play the game? You did it? Yeah, I did it. Nobody gifted any members. I guess that was free. So if you do it in that way, then the person says, okay, so what you're telling me is I'm going to grind for all this new stuff in Season 2, I'm going to get it, and then in Season 3, you're going to invalidate it again. You're going to come in, and you're just going to constantly keep raising that bar of my power. Now, the challenge is, whenever you keep raising the bar of the player's power, you also have to then raise the bar of the enemy power in the game. This is known as power creep. The game has to creep along with you as you creep along, because if not, it'll just invalidate the entire experience of the game. You're literally just steamrolling everything because you're like, yeah, I got all this new stuff, right? Yeah, or just nerf it. So I've always felt that the way forward for power fantasy, loot-based games, live service games, ongoing games, an 8-month milestone from my man Omar says also, haha, there you go, and it's a member plus. I've always said that I think the way forward is contextual power. I think it's contextual power. So let's look at this a different way. Let's say in Transformers Reactivate, you've got yourself completely decked out, as strong as you possibly could be or want to be, okay? Strong as you possibly could be or want to be. Omar can't gift on mobile? Could you do it in the past? Would they take it away? YouTube's acting squirrely today. I'm not sure. You're as strong as you want to be. You've maxed your homing out. They're like, all right, here comes Season 2. And somebody ordered some coffee, 2 bags of Frickmas from Po Buddies Nerfict. Thank you so much. Another coffee order. So many coffee orders. The only thing we need to capstone this is hitting our member goal. And we are having a killer day. Thank you guys so much for being awesome and for being here this morning and supporting what we do, right? I think what you would do is you would say, all right, here is Season 2. And in Season 2, we're introducing new territory, new enemies, and new weapon type, new abilities, okay? What you do is when you go into those areas, you get new abilities, you get new powers, you get new guns, you get new things, because contextually, they're helping you with the new enemy type and with the new activity. Now, obviously, you can only do this so many times. If you get to, like, Season 10... and I'm once again getting new abilities to fight new enemy types and new encounter types, that could start to feel a little bit like, oh my gosh, how many abilities could I possibly have, right? So, the trick is, right, and this is where you kind of have to trick people, right? What's good, MJ? You kind of have to trick people in a loot-based game like this. You do. If you're taking that rhythm, by the time you get to the 3rd or 4th season, I think people are going to feel like they're on the verge of feeling bloated as a player. They're like, I got too much stuff, right? I have my vanilla build that I love, and when I go run vanilla content, it feels amazing. And then I've got seasons 2 and 3 and 4. I've got builds for those seasons, those activities, those enemies, and I feel pretty awesome. But I don't feel like I can add another set here. Yo, Po Buddies Nerfic jumping back in as a member and getting that purple badge. You almost made me misspeak. Thank you. Hitting the alerts. Welcome back, my friend. So, you would start to feel a little bit bloated as a character, but I think if you picture it as almost like 4 loadouts, right? You got 4 loadouts that are sort of contextual to pieces and parts of the game. Well, coincidentally, when you hit your 4th season, what have you done? You've delivered a year's worth of content, okay? And now you have 4 loadouts, 4 context, enemy types, damage types, build types, etc. You got 4 sort of pillars holding up the game, all right? And now what you do is those become your seasonal rhythms of Season 5 would basically loop back around and add new loot, stronger stuff, better stuff, new encounters that sort of centers around you taking loadout 1 and leveling it up. Why is that okay at that point? Why? Because plenty of time has passed and there's now distance in their connectivity to, well, I don't want to replace all my gear. I just got it. I just got the store I wanted. Well, you'd be way more okay with it. There it is. Ray Haverfield got a gifted member from Omar. Thank you, Omar. I don't know what's going on today. I really, really don't. This is the most bizarre experience I've had in streaming in a while. Chat's coming to screeching halts. No one's saying anything. I'm talking to myself. I don't get it. I don't know what's happening. And and people are ordering coffee like crazy. Everything's upside down. The problem with this topic is that we don't have any gameplay, just a sort of cinematic trailer. People are interested, but they're also interested, yet no gameplay or anything. Well, we have good detail. We have great details from the fact that Certain Affinity was building a third-person MMO game inspired by Destiny. And what I'm talking about is how you rhythmically create seasonal content without sort of undercutting somebody's desire, right? You expect them to be able to order coffee and talk at the same time? I really think that's what's happening. Everybody's ordering coffee, I guess. That's why I keep checking. I'm like, is that what's happening? We've gotten, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 coffee orders already. You guys are going crazy. Christmas is more popular than live service. I guess. I'm doing dinner prep. No. You guys are fine. Sometimes I wonder, am I doing too good of a job? Like, I'm just monologuing. And everyone's like, this is great. This is excellent. And I'm like, is chat broke? Anyway, back to the point that I was making. If you get to season 5 of Transformers Reactivate, okay? If you get to season 5, and at that point, they're starting to motivate you to put down your favorite build from when the game just came out, you're way more willing to do that because it's been a year. Does that make sense? It's like, it's been a year. So you could go back to, okay, we're going to reinvigorate those enemy types. There's going to be new activities with those enemy types, stronger versions of those enemies. And now what you can do is this is when it gets logistically good for developers. You have 4 teams. 4 teams. You have teams that are really, really good with the vanilla enemies. And they make them better. And they make them stronger. And they make new activities with them. And they're really, really good with vanilla weapon sets and ability sets. And they make them better. And they make them stronger. And now you're leveling up. And the reason that this would work is because, yes, this would be minimal power creep, but you're kicking the can so much further down the road. Your power creep would start in year 2. You'd spend an entire year going back through and saying, seasons 2, 3, and 4, they're now going to get new abilities, new powers, new guns, new enemies, new activities. And each of those 4 pillars, you've got basically seasons 1, 2, 3, 4. Each of those has a team that understands those enemy types, those build types, the weapons, the activities, etc. And then in year 2, you bump everything up. Now, you could probably get away with this for, I would think, if you did this right, you could do this for 10 years. Because you'd get to the 5th year and you'd reset everything. You'd come up with some way to reset everything, go back and do everything. And the beauty of this is that the other thing you could do is, let's say you walk into season 2 and you do all this stuff. And then season 2's sequel is season 6. Does that make sense? Because you go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then seasons 5, 6, 7, and 8 would essentially be continuations of those builds, those sets, those enemies, etc. So when you would walk into season 6, they could reinvigorate the old content. They could level it all up, add new loot incentives, in addition to adding new content. Something that I always said they should be doing in Destiny is take a 2-pronged approach. You would say, let's reinvigorate the old content, update it, add new loot to it, make it meaningful, while also adding new content. So you have 2 pillars. So instead of everybody going like, oh, here's the new content, and woof, and the player base just like slants, floods the new content, overplays it, and then feels burned out a couple of days later or a couple of weeks later, what you would do is you would level the game out. And you would basically have people ping-ponging between the reinvigorated old and the new, so they wouldn't feel that monotony hit so fast. Monotony will hit. You have to dictate when the monotony hits. Does that make sense? You have to dictate when that player feels that. They're going to feel it. They're going to feel like, I'm sick of this. If I have to shoot one more Decepticon, if I have to shoot one more robot, I'm going to lose it. They're going to get to that point. The trick is making that take so long that when it happens, they go into a valley of like maybe disengagement, disenfranchisement, and then right as they come out of that valley, you've got new content ready. The problem, I think, what happens is with ongoing games is there's this huge focus on the new and the shiny. And what happens is you're handing a starving person a candy bar. It's new, it's shiny, it's tasty, but they can't live off of it. They're like, there's nothing to do in the game. I'm burned out. I'm starving for content. And you're like, we have this new thing. Here it is. It's a candy bar. And they're like, roof. and they inhale it. It makes them feel kind of sick to their stomach. And then when they keep eating it over and over again, it can't sustain them. They're like, I can't live off of this. There's no substance. It's just new and shiny, and now it's not new and shiny anymore. So its value is immediately sort of diminished by the way that they've consumed it. And that's why I think when you look at a game like this, Transformers Reactivate, if it is going to be an ongoing MMO game, it's going to be live service, these are all the things they need to be thinking about. How do we make seasons 1 through 4 work, and then what's everything do in that shadow, in the reflection of that? Because if you do it any other way, you see the pitfalls, you see the power creep, you see the needs to nerf, you see the loot table feeling like a treadmill. I've had this gun before. I've had it before. It just looks different. I've had this roll, I've had these perks, I've had this before. The way you do it, contextual power. 4 seasons that invest in new contextual environments with new power, new abilities, new enemies, and then when you get to seasons 6, 7, and 8, and 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, the next 4, they are extrapolations, evolutions, and upticks of those seasons. You're just outlining the problem with live service. The game never changes. It's just rinse and repeat. But if you can create an environment, Hilly, that does that while also feeling fresh and new, then you win. Then you win. If you're playing Season 7 of Transformers Reactivate, and it feels new and fresh, new fights, new bosses, right? New everything, then you will not really notice that you're essentially doing the same thing, because every game's content loop can only do so much. You can only swing a sword, shoot a gun, move a mech so many ways before it's like, okay, I've done this before. The question's not whether or not you've done it before. The question is it fun to play it the 1,000th time? Is it satisfying the 1,000th like boss defeat, right? He described Destiny seasons since Beyond Light, Stasis, then Void, then Solar, then Arc. Yeah, I mean, I know they went back and reinvigorated those powers, but what I'm describing is something that's far more deeper than that. It's not just, oh, we're going to go back and revisit those powers. It's, we're going to literally create new powers that are needed in this particular context. And the way you keep that from feeling like it invalidated all the old content and invalidated all your old builds is every season has to reinvigorate existing content while adding new. So your vanilla build still matters. Your initial build that you harnessed and crafted, that still matters. Even though there's this new arena, there's this new place that you go with your Transformer, that you're using new guns, new abilities, new enemies that you're facing. And then again, you don't start to ask somebody to replace their vanilla build. You don't start to do that until a year later. That's when you do it. That would be my case. That would be my case for how to build live service, right? What are the most successful live service games right now, and what are they doing right? Is there a proper formula right now? Well, I think the seasonal format that you see in Diablo is having an impact on the industry, right? I believe it's having an impact on the industry. I believe that you are seeing the impact of like, hey, come play a season, and that season's jam-packed with value. And I think Diablo 3 hit its ceiling, right? You can only do that so many times before you're like, yeah, I've done this before, right? I believe Destiny's going through a very, very similar thing. Thank you for 19 months, Baker. That's a member plus. Welcome back. You think Elden Ring will go on sale soon? Probably not. Division had that problem. Each content dropped, and you were regrinding your builds. Right. I need to be able to make a lateral movement that feels meaningful, that doesn't invalidate what I'm laterally moving from. right? The lateral movement, the thing I'm laterally moving from is still good and still awesome. Yo, thank you, Tiny Toot, with 5 gifted memberships, pushing us closer to that daily goal where I have to give 5 members if we hit 25. Irene, the end is near. Deathside, Jawan, and Mustang. You guys all got gifted members. That puts us to 8 for the day. We love to hit that 25 every day. And then I give 5 as a thank you, as a way to pay it forward. If you cannot afford a membership right now, be here as often as you can. Every day when we break for lunch, I take a break in between first show and second show. I hang out with the members. Yesterday, we looked at mean comments. We call it Mean Comment Monday. And today, we'll be looking at a bunch of new trailers. It's New Trailer Tuesdays. Hey, Baker's going to do 5. Oh, let's go. Let's get a little member train going. Let's put some gas in this tank. Come on. Show some appreciation for a nonstop 25-minute monologue on how to build a live service game. Come on. Dunk, Lar, Smokey, Nigel Johnson, Back in Time, Earthbound. You guys all got gifted members. And another order of coffee, a Frickmas bag, and a dark bag to Chris. Thank you so much. If you just got gifted a member and you feel like paying it forward, you can gift 1, 5, 10, as many as you feel like. It's a great way to keep the train going. We call that the gifted pay it forward. You're like, well, I didn't need a gifted. I'll gift, right? Also for the Transformer sound effect. Yes, if we hit 25, I will do the Transformer sound effect again. Yes. Coffee going wild. Coffee going wild today. I love to see it. If you're not aware, here at Reforge Gaming, we have our own coffee. This is our Frickmas blend. Merry Frickmas. I'm dreaming of a white Frickmas. These white bags are a bank error in your favor. Limited edition bags that I am signing. These are meant to be black. Going forward, all of our coffee bags will be black. But these are limited edition, and I'll sign them. So get your orders in today. Our Frickmas coffee tends to be our most popular. It sort of cannibalizes the other flavors. But if you want to try all 3, the triple threat bundle will save you a little bit of money. If they don't nail sound, this game is DOA. I 100% agree with that. Do you want to know why I went back to Outriders and I had to immediately walk away? Sound design. I couldn't friggin' take it. I couldn't take it. It did my head in. And I can't imagine playing a Transformers game or diving into like lengthy play sessions of Transformers gameplay if it sounds bad. Right? If it sounds bad, brother, I'm walking. I'm walking. I can't do it, right? I can't do it. I can't. Oh my, no thanks. The guns, the explosions. If it sounds all muddy and like noise pollution, I was gonna say the same thing. Sound design has to be good. Yeah, Zubair's saying character design too, especially because this is gonna be a third-person game, right? This is gonna be a third-person game, and you've got to nail the character design. I need to feel like I am that Transformer. I do. I really, really do. Transformers movie game was insanely slept on. I noticed the sound issues when I went back to play Division 1 and 2. I love the open world in Div 1, but man, the gun sounds terrible and the music does not do it for me. If you play more modern games, like I know Modern Warfare 2 is a bit of a mess right now. My reaction video yesterday is just absolutely going bonkers. It took off like a dadgum rocket overnight. People are really, really resonating with that video. And so I'm not praising that game that much, but I am going to praise its sound design. You go play Modern Warfare 2 and shoot a couple guns, and you go play Outriders, you're like, am I playing on a Coleco? What happened to the sound? Right? How'd the FTC short do? My FTC reaction video, I go through that Twitter thread, Eugene. We haven't published it yet. Yo, Po Buddies Nerfict giving us another 5, taking us to 18 members for the day. We are on the doorstep of the daily goal. Nearly Crazy, Dario Wallace, After Forever, Chew Bark, and Resolve. You guys all get a gifted member. Make sure you get into our Discord so you don't miss out on the daily member segments. I also am giving members a sneak peek the night before, so make sure you're checking YouTube and the Discord when I push those out. I'm like, hey, here's what's coming tomorrow, and I appreciate that. So Infinite is going to get us right there. Another 5. We got a bit of a member train going. That takes us to 23. Sea Salt, Matthew Murphy, Astray Wolf, Beast of Darkness, and Monty Mole. Guys, if you got that brand new membership, make sure and say thank you to Po Buddies, Nerfict, Big O, Infinite, and Tiny Toot. They're gifting members, and we got a bit of a train going. We do members content every day when I break for lunch. Today we'll be looking at new trailers. Yesterday we looked at mean comments. Sometimes I check out new games. We checked out a bunch of indie titles the other day, and we found a really, really cool one. And then on Friday nights, I play video games with my wife and have some drinks. But this Friday is the return of Hilly Hijinks. My wife's got a party she's going to. So me and Hilly, in the spirit of Christmas, are going to get blitzed and play games. I'm kidding, but kind of not. Yo, Just Blaze is going to give us a little extra. That puts us 3 over. Every 25, I have to give 5, by the way. So he just gave you a 3 surplus. So now we only need 22 to make me do it again. 22 more. Thank you so much. Liquid N, The Whiskey Panda, Hemulin, Sweatback, and Jared. You guys all got a gifted member from Just Blaze. Huge day. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, it's Hazy Jane time. Yeah, we need a game for me and Hilly to play in the spirit of Christmas. We need a Christmas game to play. Are there any good Christmas like holiday games to play that would be funny? You know what I'm saying? It'll be fun. Next week's like the day before Christmas Eve, and the week after that's like the day before like New Year's Eve. So it's like I reached out to him and I'm like, hey, let's do some Hilly Hijinks. Literally the spirits of Christmas. That's right. I don't think drunk DMZ is a good idea. I feel like we would probably get salty. I don't think that would end well. I really, really don't. Yeah, drunk DMZ sounds like a terrible idea. An absolutely terrible idea. All right, once these alerts stop, I will gift my 5 that I owe to you. I also promised I would do the Transformers thing. I don't know why you guys like this. I was literally just saying, you transform from a jet to your Transformer. It's like, like that's the sound, is it not? Isn't that the sound? I feel like that's the sound. Keep up the best live streams on YouTube. Thank you so much. Matazbo, a 13-month milestone. That's my man at a member plus. I think I'm going to start giving you guys sneak peeks of the Lego stuff. Be like, hey, thanks so much for being a higher level member. You the best. That's pretty much the sound. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, here comes my 5. Here comes my 5 as a thank you for hitting 25. Every 25, there we go. Every 25, I have to give 5. I tell you what I'm going to start doing, too. I'm not going to add mine to that count just so it's a lot clearer, right? I'm not going to add mine. When I do the 5, if I do like 1 to mess with you guys, I'll do it. But I'm not going to add my 5 so that it's very clear how close we are to the next one. So when that hits 50, I'll do another 5. Illy, John, Jerry Tyrell, Clapper Dan, and Johnny Olivo. You guys all got gifted members. We don't upload Lego stuff to a gaming channel. Leave me alone. If I want to be talking to them and give them a sneak peek, I'm gonna give them a sneak peek. There are people that are spending more money on this channel, and I want to give them a little upload. Tell them to get in the Discord if they want that. Yeah, I guess I could go to we need to create a plus room then, right? The people that are on Member Plus. Yo, Hex coming in with 13 months. Thank you so much. I'm talking like once a month being like, hey, thanks for being a Member Plus and a VIP, and being like, and panning the camera to be like, oh, what's that over there? Like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Lego content. Thank you for the daily content, my man. My mornings are boring without you. Thank you so much, Hex, for a 13-month milestone. Like, I'm not talking about a daily upload. Like, once a month being like, I'll give you guys a little sneak peek on some of the stuff we're doing, some of the behind the scenes, right? You know, maybe walk over there and show them the backlog of Lego sets. I don't know. Just a little extra. You know, they're doing the Member Plus. They're doing the VIP. PS5 is a myth and urban legend. I got an email last night. They had more PS5s available through Direct. So, congratulations, everybody who got a membership today. 28 members. If it's a gifted, you can pick up that membership on your own. You can also upgrade that membership to a membership plus for $1 if you'd like to get, securing your own membership right away and getting into, more of the content. Someone gift me a frick. I can't gift you a frick. I mean, we have a frick emote, so I guess I can. We can't click on you and gift to you yet. That's not a feature. We hope that becomes a feature in the near future, because we would like to target people with gifts instead of it being somewhat random. It is based on loyalty, so the more often you're here, the more often you watch. I hear smashing the like button also helps. It also helps you get into the gifted funnel. I'm totally making that up, but yeah, that's what I hear. That's what I hear. The rumor. I have no fricks to give. The God of War bundle. Eugene sent me a link a couple days ago. All the PSIs available on the PS website. Yeah, I got an email from them saying they had some available, and I went to the Discord and I said, hey, that's a reason to be in the Discord. I said, hey guys, I just got an email, right? I sprained my frick. Keep it up, Lona. You're doing a great job. Thank you, Javier. They're in Direct right now. Yeah, apparently you can order them in Direct right now. I think some people just gave up and they're not paying attention. Because if they still have them available in Direct, then they have either a lot more or people aren't paying attention. Because I got that email yesterday. So if you're trying to get a PS5, apparently a PS5 restock has happened and it's significant. As of 10 minutes ago, Direct still has some. There you go. No excuses anymore. Can't get a PS5. Really? Really? Can right now, baby. Can right now. There's no shortage in North America. All right. Let's throw out another discussion question. I want to keep talking about this Transformers game, okay? I want to keep talking about this Transformers game. I'm gonna drag this stream. I'm gonna drag it up the hill because I'm seeing it turn. We're seeing it turn. All right, we're seeing good numbers, seeing good turnout, seeing gifted, seeing coffee. You guys are making it happen. I'm just sitting here talking. Right, most of this is in your hands. All right, most of what we do here is in your hands. I was teetering on being like, all right, we're done. We're done with this subject. So let me throw out another question. And this is hotly debated in games. It is. This is hotly debated. So I hope I get some back and forth here. All right. According to the leaks, this game's being built or was being built by Certain Affinity to be a free-to-play MMO third-person game inspired by Destiny. Now, being free-to-play could be great, but it could also be the game's downfall. What do you think? Where do you land on this? Do you hear that and immediately get concerned? Or are you like, no, this is the right way to do it? Yo, Zinthos with a 15-month milestone. It's a VIP. Good morning. Hope you have a good one. Yo, what's up, my man, dude? Welcome back. We have those two articles to look at. Oh, yeah, we've got voice actors, concept art, and plot lines. I tell you what, I want to look at the concept art with you guys. You guys want to look at the concept art? I probably should have used some of this for the thumbnail. I just went and grabbed a cool picture of Optimus Prime for the thumbnail. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at this concept art. So, this is on tformers.com. Yo, Sean Mullen's going to jump in, and he doesn't need a gifted. He's going to gift himself a membership. That pushes us to 29 new members on the day. If we hit 50, I got to gift 5 more. Okay, so here we have... Oh, whoops, hang on 1 second. Let's slide over here. Man, my vertigo is acting up today. The looking up and down, my head is freaking spinning. Really bothering me. 11 images. Okay, so this is concept art for the game. Mostly G1 with extra bulk. Very interesting blade. Okay. So we're looking at, I'm assuming, Bumblebee. This is a very classic look here. This does not look like the Transformers of the latest movies, right? Hop in and say thank you for the gifted. Keep up the great work. Liquid N, I'm glad you got one. You the best. You are the best. Keep using that coffee command, guys, if you want to order your coffee. Don't forget to support our glasses sponsor or our t-shirt sponsor. You can use the shirt or the glasses command as well. Okay, I'm freaking in. I am in. I'm so in. Hang on, let me get rid of this then. We don't need to do. Usually I use that black bar to block all the ads and stuff. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is, I don't, people saying that it looked dated, I'm wondering if that was before all of this. This stuff looks updated, right? This looks updated to me. Like, that certainly doesn't look next gen. That kind of looks like a toy, but I think that's okay. I think it's okay if Transformers lands in sort of a toyish look. I don't think anybody's going to have a problem with that. That looks freaking amazing. None of these are high res. I wouldn't have wanted to use these for a thumbnail, but they do look really, really good. There we go. Optimus Prime. Stylistic choice. Okay, so that's it. That's all the pictures. Okay. Yeah, I can appreciate the style choice here. I really, really can. Especially if you look at his face, like that's a more classic look. Instead of their face being almost robotic, their face is almost humanoid. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, if you look at see how he has like a humanoid face underneath his helmet on my shirt? Like that's what this reminds me of. It kind of reminds me of like the cartoons growing up, like where they landed stylistically, as opposed to being like, if you look at the freaking movies, their faces are all robotic, and his face is very similar to the shirt that I'm wearing. That's almost identical, honestly, if you think about it. Here, let me get myself. No, let's not do that. Let's do this. I'm gonna give you guys a chest cam. This is basically OnlyFans now. I mean, look at that. I mean, that right there is the inspiration. That's the inspiration for what he looks like over there. It is 100%. 100%. Old white pasty chest is blinding. My shirt is on. You don't like Bumblebee's legs. All right, hang on. Let's go back. I mean, I could see, because they are going for realism, because like I feel like in the movies, all of this stuff would collapse, right? All of these pieces, these wheel wells would just disappear. They would just go, and they would just like collapse into, his body. But I kind of like that. You can see the grill of the car right there, the hood of the car. I don't know. I kind of like that. I like that the lights, the headlights are up there at the top, so that when he transforms, I mean, you can see. Oh, that's not the grill of the car. I'm sorry. That's the windshield. Yeah. That's the windshield. His calves are huge. But those aren't calves. That's just the wheel wells sticking out. Now, obviously, it's harder to pick out things here directly from, when he turns into the tank. It's a little bit easier. I mean, I don't know. Like right here, yeah, it's a little bit easier for Optimus Prime because the semi is pretty boxy. So they're just keeping him boxy. He's got the exhaust pipes on his arms. He's got the windshield right across his pecs. Just a great idea. I love the way this one always comes together and always looks so nice in my mind. That's good. That's good work. Yeah. I think it looks good, man. I think it looks very, very good. I like this Bumblebee better. I don't have a problem with that Bumblebee, right? And I obviously love Haley Steinfeld. I think she she's great. That movie, I think that movie and True Grit really helped her. True Grit especially, but that movie really showed she could kind of carry a movie on her shoulders. Is there a release date? There is not a release date. No, there's not a release date. They're just the rumor was next year. So, hang on, let me reopen that. All right, let's take a look at, we got one more thing to look at here, which is the voice actors. More concept art. Yeah, this is concept art. Those weren't concept art things we just looked at. Those were like actual models in the game. We will hear Peter Cullen, Frank Welker, Will Friedel, Steve Blum, and David Sobolov characterizations in the game with more TBA. Okay, I'm not sure. Do we know who any of these people are? I don't recognize a single name. That doesn't mean that they're not well known. Oh, wait, Peter Cullen is the guy that does Optimus Prime. They got him? Cullen is Optimus in all of the movies dating back to 1986. He's been Optimus Prime that long. You know Peter Cullen? I grew up playing with the toys. I didn't grow up watching the cartoons and knowing who was who and what voice actor was what, right? Straight up, Lono, you're effing rude. I've been watching your streams and enjoying it for a while. And when I'm not here in stream, I catch it while I'm at work on Spotify. But respectfully, you're rude. I don't understand. Adrian, what are you talking about? Who am I being rude to? Are you feeling okay? What are you talking about? Where did that come from? What happened? All right. Frank Welker. Okay, so Peter Cullen is him. Frank Welker is known for work in Scooby-Doo and Curious George. Frank Welker is Megatron. He's 76. Out of left field. Yeah, really out of left field. I don't know. Was he listening to a... Is he listening to like a What an Incredible Copy Pasta? I wish you actually roasted someone so you knew the reference. Yeah, I'm not sure what he's talking about. You responded to negativity, but you'll skip a positive question directly? What are you talking about, Adrian? What do you mean I skip positive questions and respond to negativity? I don't know what you're referring to. If you listen to me a lot and support me a lot, that doesn't sound like a summary of my content. No way. Will Friedel, I didn't know that this is who this was. He played Eric Matthews on Boy Meets World, and looks like he's gotten into voice acting in Batman. Then tell people not to spam. I fully asked you a question and watch you skip over my question. When did you ask a question? Today? What are you talking about? Chat's been moving extremely slow today. I wouldn't have skipped over a question unless I was looking away from the screen. I'm scrolling up and I'm not seeing a question from you. Like, you might need to re-ask your question. I do not intentionally skip questions, bro. Said I'm rude, and now you're saying that I only respond to negativity and skip over positive questions. I don't know what question you're referring to. All right, Steve Blum. Steve Blum is an American voice acting known for his deep voice. Roles include Spike Spiegel from the animated series Cowboy Bebop. Okay, so another good voice actor here. Another good voice actor here with good background. They landed some voice talent. They definitely landed some vocal talent here. And then we got David Sobolov, Canadian voice actor, best known for his roles as Depth Charge in Beast Wars. So this guy has worked in Transformers before. Yeah. So they've landed some good vocal talent here, and I think that shows commitment. The fact that they got Peter Cullen and Frank Welker. I mean, I feel bad that I don't recognize those voice actors' names. Dude, he's telling people to shut up now. Listen, Adrian, I'm not sure what happened or what's got you all wound up, homie. But like, I've never seen you in chat asking questions and getting ignored. She asked, when is the PS5 upgrade for The Witcher? It comes out tomorrow, I believe. Thank you, Kale. Yeah, tomorrow. I literally just went to Google and typed Witcher Next Gen Upgrade Release. Yeah, tomorrow. I wasn't ignoring you. I don't understand. Oof, that was a good neck pop. I don't know. That's not even the type of question that you should be upset about me not answering. Like, that seems very odd. Neck pop? Rude. You know how many times I get ignored? I've been giving Lono money for 6 years. All right, chat. No need to dogpile. Could have asked chat. Yeah, someone in chat. We have a very, very helpful community here. Like, chat would have been able to answer your question very quickly. Somebody was asking a little bit ago something about, I forget what. And somebody in chat was like, bro, we answered your question like 3 times. Yo, Dan McGann jumping back in as a VIP. Welcome back. Apologies I couldn't find it, but I was frustrated because I do support, but it's because this has happened before. Listen, Adrian, I do my absolute best to respond to everybody that I possibly can, but like, things are gonna get missed. Yeah, the Discord, you will never get ignored in the Discord. Somebody's gonna answer your question. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Discord might be a better place too. If you're needing something answered like right away, you know, I feel like I'm easily the most interactive streamer on planet Earth. It's just I don't know if you can go anywhere else and get the level of interaction that you get here, man. I don't know. I feel like I do a pretty bang up job. I'm tooting my own horn because I have a right to. I put a lot of work into that. Enzian grabbed a bag of light roast. Thank you, Enzian, for deciding to try out Reforge Roast Coffee. That is our coffee. That is not a sponsor. Thank you so much. How do I join the members Discord? The link is right above your question, shenanigans. Discord.gg/ReforgeTV. We're on Twitter, Instagram. We're on the Click Clock app. We're everywhere as Reforge TV. I don't like telling people to go use Google, Alien Psychopath. I like people looking at me as a resource for information. Like if somebody comes here instead of Google, I'm cool with that. But you got to give me, you know, a fair shake. Unless it's T-Funk. That's right. Yeah, whether it's 300 or 3,000 people in chat, Lono always strives to answer as many as humanly possible. That's true. That's true. CY, everyone, and apologies. You're good. You're good, Adrian. You're good. Like, we don't need to dogpile. Adrian has said, you know, apologies, and it's fine. That's fine. Everybody has those moments where they're like, for frick's sake, bro! Like, you know, I get that. I get that. I gave you 3 fair shakes and was told that's just playing. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Chris. Yo, Risic upgrading to a VIP gold membership. That's a big one. I love gold. If it's questions off topic, don't be surprised if it gets missed. Yeah, sometimes that does happen. I do ignore off-topic questions sometimes because I'm just like trying to interact with the chat and just trying to, you know, keep the conversation going. It's kind of an organic thing, right? Like if we're hammer and tongs debating live service and someone's like, "Hey, when's that Witcher update come out?" I might literally, my brain skips the question for me. You know what I mean? I can't. My brain doesn't even see it. It's like I skip right over it because I'm locked into the live service debate. You know, I'm locked into the back and forth and to the fire. You know, I like to harness the power of chat. You know, and it can be really hard if we're going hammer and tongs and like somebody's trying to come in and like derail. They're like, "I know this is off topic, Lono, but what do you think about this completely unrelated game over here?" And sometimes I'm like, huh? Like, there's a channel called This that has 18-minute video about the Transformers game dated before the announcement that has some very interesting details. I've not vetted that video, so I can't necessarily promote it, and I'm not just going to pull it up and watch it either. I've not had a chance to vet it, but I don't always get responded to either, and that's fine. Chat usually responds. We have great convos. Yeah. Harness D's. I get ignored a bunch, but sometimes if Lono blinks, your message is already gone. Yeah. You're allowed to repeat questions too, by the way. Like if I miss it, you know what I'm saying? That's totally fine. Totally fine. Best time to go off topic is members only while Lono eats a burrito bowl. My man. That's true. That's actually true. My man. The best time to go off topic is when he's munching on a burrito bowl and members only lunch break. You know, that's the best time. Notice me, senpai. You have to know when to time your question. You can't ask in the middle of a 5-minute Lono rant. Yeah, some of that you got to navigate around me a little bit. That's funny. You kind of have to know, you know. Hey, we've been streaming for 2 hours and YouTube's telling me to run ads. We don't disrupt the show with ads here. Now, if you're watching the past broadcast, we put ads about every 20 minutes. I think that's fair. That's a lot of view time with no disruption. But when we're live, I don't run ads. One of the ways we are able to do that is because of stuff like this over here. Thanks for hitting the member goal. Thanks for supporting with memberships, coffee orders. Smash the like button as well. Every 25, I have to gift 5, so 21 more, and I'll do it again. Thanks for being here. If you're like, I can't really afford a membership, don't worry. The more often you're here, the more likely you'll get one. So thanks for supporting the channel. We've been discussing Transformers Reactivate as a live service game. Do you want to play it? MMO, third-person, RPG. How do you keep a live service game going? I went on a pretty lengthy description, sort of argumentation about how I think you keep a live service game going. I think seasonal format is good. Subscription format, I think, is harder to get off the ground. And so I've been talking about that. I before we kind of got off on this tangent of, we looked at some concept art, we looked at some voice actors, which is encouraging that they got some of the bigger voice actors to be a part of this project. I think that's a sign of good things, of potential. I asked if people were worried about it being free to play. We really didn't get to bat that ball around. That was the last discussion topic that I kind of threw out there. I get ignored all the time. The key is to never stop typing and walk a fine line between trolling and engaging. That's right. Lono also only knows the answers to questions regarding first-party Sony exclusive titles. Shut up. Lono, I just gave you a 10-minute section. Hope that's good. A 10-minute what? Lono, I just gave you a 10-minute section? What are you talking about? A 10-minute section where? I'm seeing people join the Discord as well. Thanks, everybody, for doing that. Free to play is BS, Trash Panda, says Hilly. That's when Lono isn't watching us the same way. That's right. Wait, what are you talking about, Lord Bacon Destroyer? This game is supposed to be more Warframe inspired from what I heard. The leaks that I read said it was inspired by Destiny. I read leaks saying it was inspired by Destiny. There's going to be a damage type, tank type, and support type, and you'll build your transformer around that. Until Dawn is a great Christmas game for you guys to play. Until Dawn? That's not a Christmas game. He was complaining about no engagement. You just engaged with him for 10 minutes. That's true. That's true. That is. I mean, earlier, we were having trouble getting the chat going. I was like, what's going on, man? What's going on? Yeah, somebody, there's no good info there, Barrier. It's interesting, obviously. It's cool that they did it. But somebody decoded all of the text on the screen from the cinematic trailer. So that's cool that somebody figured all that out. That's actually pretty dope. Where's the Spideyverse 2 trailer? I don't know if it's hit yet. So from my understanding, based on your talks, this is a Destiny competitor. I don't think it would be viewed as a Destiny competitor, no. I've continued to argue that I think there is a lot of room for live service looters to nail the format. Nobody really has. If we want to look at videos with the best info, yeah, 30 and Still Gaming has really, really good videos about this. If you guys are interested in Transformers coverage, Mike's got some good uploads. Check out his channel, 30NSG. Let's get him to 1,000 subs. Let's get him monetized. Die Hard's the only Christmas movie. Yeah. Nothing sounds worse than Warframe inspired. My thing literally just fell off with lack of excitement. If you're wearing a Santa hat, then it becomes a Christmas game. I'll wear a Santa hat this Friday night. I will. I tell you what, let's keep the conversation going. I think we have enough people and enough things still to talk about. I'll be right back. I need to take a quick break. Oh. Is it a gameplay trailer? No, the Spidey trailer today is for the next Spider-Verse movie. Not a big Transformers fan, but honestly, all feels like good to play. Count me in. So rude. That's right. When are the raids coming to MW2? Tomorrow. We were going to cover it, but we are not. Tomorrow there's going to be a Hogwarts stream that I think is going to be well worth our time. And COD just kind of, in its current state, is not worth our time. Sadly. We have a video doing really, really well about why everybody's stopping playing. So... I'm done with Christmas movies as well. My roommate binge watched all the Christmas you could name on Hallmark. We watch. My wife likes Christmas with the Cranks. We watch that. That's the only Christmas movie we've watched so far. We usually make sure to hit up like White Christmas and It's a Wonderful Life. Those are usually the two we every year pretty consistently watch. So outside of that, I try not to go too crazy. I watched Krampus for about 5 minutes. I just couldn't. Hogwarts looks stupidly good. Do we have a thumbnail yet for new trailer Tuesdays for each? If not, it's okay. I like It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, I like that one. The new animated. My kids love The Grinch with Cumberbatch as the voice actor. They love that one. It's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. I laugh at that one a little bit. It's got some funny parts. The new Christmas Story Christmas. That's a thing? I didn't even know that was a thing. No, we don't? Okay. For the Jim Carrey Grinch, that's my least favorite. That's my least favorite. I am processing up to HD, no estimate. I've never seen that before. The Game Awards now says processing up to HD. No, I'm assuming it means to say no estimated time. Is that new in the UI? I've never seen that on the back end before. We're trying to remove parts of that broadcast. Why is it hard to make a good COD? I don't play anymore. Teams have so many issues during the first Modern Warfare days. Tells you how long processing will take. Okay. I'm unsubbing. Not a Jim Carrey fan. No, I love Jim Carrey. I don't like the Jim Carrey Grinch. I don't like it at all. I think it's terrible. I mean, you watch what you want, but I thought it was awful. You're interested in the raid tomorrow? Word. Reuse this. Okay. We cover the High on Life game. That's going to be our second show of the day. I don't know what happened with this one in particular. I think YouTube was acting up. This thing is crushing everywhere, and we got murdered, and I don't know why. So we're gonna have to bail a little bit earlier than I wanted to. 2 hours is pretty good. I wanted to go a little bit longer, but you can't always get what you want. I was excited about this one, and excited to discuss it, but we just had a very bizarre. YouTube was acting funky. People were having issues with chat. So sadly, we had a wonderful morning. We had a huge member goal of chat was popping, but YouTube was just acting real goofy. So we're going to head to members, new trailer Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, we take a look at all the new trailers that are out. And then the second show, we'll be playing High on Life. Trebellion with a whole year. And it's a member plus. Yo, Lono just joined. Is this Transformers live service, or have I read that wrong? All signs point. Need to look for a streamer mode. High on Life has language and nudity. Well, the language I knew we were going to have to deal with. I didn't know. Mike played it last night. How long does it take before you run into nudity? I figured we could at least play it for an hour to an hour and a half. Is that like right away? But yes, Trebellion, it is, all signs point to this being a live service game. It was being built by Certain Affinity as a third-person MMO, inspired by Destiny, so like an ongoing thing. New trailer. I can't type. Tuesday. You won't see nudity unless you watch the TVs. It's an Easter egg type of thing. Okay, that's good. If we can avoid that, I don't care about the language. I mean, we knew there was going to be swearing. All right, I'm going to post that. We'll stop featuring the Transformers vid, and we'll feature the members vid. Maybe this thing will pick up some traction as a VOD, because I'd love to keep covering it and discussing it. I love the concept of a live service Transformers game. You know, I do. I think it's got a lot of potential. But this stream's goose is cooked. It is done. It's done like dinner. The live environment, man. Once the momentum's gone, we move to the next thing. We got more things planned. If you're not a member, you can't come with us, but you can come with us for $5 a month. You never miss these middle of the day segments where we check out trailers and mean comments and new games. It's kind of a lunch break. And click the link in chat if you guys don't want to ride redirect. If you're not a member, I'll be playing High on Life as the second show today. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. We're really going to leave this at 29? Oh, what? This? I mean, do you guys want to go on a little run? I'll give you time if you want to try to hit the next one. You want to try and hit 50? Go on a little member run, bring a bunch of people with us. Right now, we've lost a bunch of people, so the people that are still here are pretty loyal. So it'll go to the right people if you guys go a little gift crazy right now. If somebody does it, I'll give you a few minutes to do it. You know? We got a little bit of flexibility here. I just don't like to belabor it. I mean, I just don't. Once I can tell that this conversation's over, I move on. I don't like to have the end of a video about Transformers to be us. We could spend the next hour talking Christmas movies. Yo, Marston says, well, at least let's round it up. He says, let's round it up. Steven's like, let's at least hit 30. Yo, my man Finn Freak got it. Yo, how are you, Finn? Good to see you, dude. Good to see you. Good to see you. I like people to watch the episode, listen to the episode, and be like, that was great. That was all Transformers, instead of, well, the last 45 minutes they were talking about, as Creature says, can Bart Simpson beat up Darth Vader? We go fully off the rails, which is fun, but that's what members is perfect for. Like, we don't have to worry about that in the members only environment. So, all right, I'll give you guys a couple of minutes. If you want to bring a bunch of people's with us, if you guys want to do another 20, and then I got to give 5, I'll let you do that. I'll give you some time to do that. The answer is obviously yes. I'm back. What's good, Sean? Good to see you. Bart has no chance. Yeah. Well, it's an absurd debate, and that's why Preacher always uses that as his example, because he's like, the chat we get a little wild when we're like, well, there's nothing left to talk about. Transformers live service future MMO. I really like It's a Wonderful Life. Like, what? Just, it's all about quality control. It's all about quality control. Thank you again to everybody who ordered Reforge Roast today. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 orders. 9 orders. So thank you so much for that. That's 9 orders just to bother Stephen Marston. If you guys want to even out the coffee orders and take us to 10. Stephen doesn't like that 9 number. Apparently, he had to fix this one over here. I'll leave that 30 for the next stream, by the way. I'll let you guys carry that over into the next stream. Optimus Prime is dope. Oh, yeah? Well, Batman, given enough time, could beat him. Yeah. Given enough time, Batman could apparently beat Optimus Prime. Yeah. 0s or 5s? Oh, you don't like that? 0s or 5s? Oh, you're saying people should give 0 or 5 right now? Is that what you're saying? I'm giving y'all one more minute. And then we're out of here. It could be like one of those streams where as long as people are gifting, I keep going, right? Ends up being like a 36-hour stream, and then I just fall over and pass out dead. I did a 24-hour stream once. Hated it. Committed to never doing it again. And I haven't. I have not. It was an awful experience. Truly terrible. I don't remember what we were doing. It was just misery. I felt like garbage. Hogwarts is getting 3 release dates. February, then April for old gen, then July. Where did that come from? You expose your OCD? Okay. No, it wasn't Deep Stone Crypt. No, Well, that was an accidental 24-hour. I didn't mean to do that. That was terrible. That put me in the hospital. That was the day after that, my freaking heart acted up. All right. I hurt my body that day. My body did not respond well. It was Niobe. I did some accidental 24-hour streams. There was one where we said we are going to do a 24-hour stream, and we played like Wrath and did challenges and stuff. So there were some accidental ones that ended up being 24 hours that we didn't know that was going to happen. Oh, Hogwarts tweeted. Okay, well, we'll cover that tomorrow when we cover their live stream, I'm sure. So, all right, I'm going to put a link in chat. If you guys want to head over there as members and not ride the redirect, click that link. That's where we are headed. If you're not a member, we'll see you this afternoon for High on Life. Thanks so much for clicking on this. You're a member, which means you get access to this. You might have gotten gifted a membership. The more you watch my channel, the more likely you'll get a gifted membership. And gifted members are equal to all members. We were going to do something with that. We decided not to. So you may be seeing this as a past broadcast, and you're like, oh, hey, how did I become a member? Every day I take a member's lunch break. And on Tuesdays, we look at new trailers. So new trailers Tuesdays. Mondays is mean comment. We'll start having a thumbnail on these, so when you see it like on the page, on the channel, you'll be like, oh, hey, I know what that is. I'm going to end the previous stream about Transformers, bring everybody over who was a part of that, who is a member. We hit a nice little member goal there. Thank you, everybody who